friend of mine gives his young children $1. I perceived some of these things. And I can tell by reading them that they were written under duress. My wife and I look askance at this policy, and we wonder how these kids will turn out. The hopeful scenario is that by writing thank you notes for paid, they'll get in the habit of writing thank you notes. They will eventually absorb the real reason for writing thank you notes, so that when they're no longer being paid, they'll carry on writing them, and they will learn the virtue of gratitude. The less optimistic scenario is the lesson they will learn is that thank you notes are a chore, a form of piecework to be done for money. And if that's what they learn, and when the money stops, so will the thank you notes. Their moral education will be corrupted, and they'll find it difficult to learn the virtue of gratitude. In Switzerland, they were trying to decide where to locate the waste site. The community wants to backyard. But they identified a town in the mountains, a small town, as the likeliest place. The residents sometimes to allocate a financial compensation to each resident of the town union up to $8,000. Then would you believe? Now how many do you think are willing to accept it? What would you guess? How many? 80? 70? 90? Lower. Someone says lower. Lower? It was lower. The willingness dropped from 51% in half to 25%. Now, understand? What's that? That wouldn't happen in Britain, you say. Here, what would it be, 90%? You think so? Well, here's an interesting question. From the standpoint of standard economic models, this is a paradox. Offer people money to do something, the willingness to do it goes up, not down. So what happened? What's happened? What was it? Now the risk, they have a heightened sense of the risk. 8,000 euros must really be awful. Dangerous, worse than I thought. That's one hypothesis. What? It was too much. A bribe? What? Too cheap. Alright, so there are two hypotheses here. One is maybe the reason willing to pay $8,000, it must really be riskier than we thought. But they tested for this, and it turns out that the estimate of the risk by the population is the same in the first, before and after the monetary offer. So it turns out, though it's a plausible hypothesis, that did not explain the difference. What did seem to explain the difference is a point some others have suggested. They asked people, why did you change your mind? And they said, we didn't want to be bribed. Before, the 51% were willing to undertake this sacrifice for the sake of the common good, out of a sense of public responsibility. We need the energy, the waste has to go somewhere, this is a safe place, we'll accept it. But then when they're offered money, what had been a matter of civic virtue becomes a financial transaction. And they said, we're not willing to endanger our families for 8,000 euros. It's a financial transaction. So In the Swiss town, it seems, the monetary incentive had the effect of crowding out, displacing, corrupting the sense of civic public responsibility. In Israel, there were some daycare centers, a familiar problem. Parents coming late to pick up their children, nurseries. So with the help of some economists, we tried to solve the problem by imposing a fine for late arrivals. What do you suppose happened? There were more late arrivals. Now, why did this happen? Huh? Right. Well, yeah, people have called it out. Before, when people came late, see, the monetary fine was treated by the parents as a fee. And before, when they arrived late, they felt guilty. They were imposing an inconvenience on the teachers. They were violating an obligation to show up on time. But once there is, with regard to the fee, they're paying for the service. So once you're guilty, you don't feel guilty when you hire a babysitter. Go back to your child. So, here again, the introduction of a cash incentive dissolved, crowded out the sense of obligation to show up. And what's interesting, I'm telling you, is that when they saw what happened, they removed the fine, but the high level of late arrivals persisted, which suggests that once you erode a sense of responsibility, a mutual responsibility, a common purpose, it's not so easy simply to turn it back on again once you erode the ethos. Well, what do we learn from these cases? I think what we learn is this. In order to decide where markets serve the public good and where they don't belong, we have to do more than ask about economic efficiency and how incentives will work. We also have to ask about whether introducing money into a certain practice can resolve these ways that crowd out goods, attitudes, norms, values. And this carries a consequence for the way we think about markets and the role of markets, public life, generally. During the past few decades, when markets and market mechanisms and the faith in market wisdom were huge through the rest of the state economy, we've had very little public debate about where markets belong and where they may crowd out important non-market values. In Iraq and Afghanistan, there were more paid military contractors than there were U.S. military troops. Now, this was not because there was ever an explicit public agreement or that we wanted to outsource war to private military companies. It happened. And in many areas of public life and personal life, markets and market greater and greater role. And the argument of the book is we need to sit down and deliberate together, to reason together in public about hard value judgments, the kind that Alice worries about making, because it's true. It's not what? That's an argument in favor or against it? You're against it. Well, I understand you're against it, and you made it very well, what I've suggested we need to do, what we can't avoid, is to have liberal public opinion, at least it's hard, is that we don't all agree on the walk away of valuing health, the intrinsic goods that may or may not involve. We don't all agree on how to value education, how to go about teaching and learning. We don't all agree, back to the classroom sterilization example, on how to value reproductive capacity. These are controversial questions, and we tend to shy away from them in our public debate because we're worried, I think, about this. But unless we confront directly these questions, unless we find our way to a morally more robust public discourse, these questions will not go undecided. Markets decide these questions. I'd just like to end with a small story. We've been talking about some large social institutions, health, education, military, criminal justice system, prisons, about the difficulty of translating all values, all goods, into a single uniform measure of value in the market. I spent 4 years in Britain as a graduate student. I was a graduate student in Oxford in the mid-late 70s. In those days, they still had all men's and all women's colleges. They weren't all men's. The all women's colleges, they had rules against overnight male guests. These rules were rarely enforced by then and easily violated, or so I was told. Pressure was going to relax these rules at St. Anne's College, which was one of the all-women's colleges in my day. And there were those who were opposed, those who wanted to retain the traditional rules on traditional moral grounds. But times had changed and they were embarrassed to give the true reason for their objection. So they translated their argument into utilitarian terms, into monetary terms. They said if we allow overnight male guests, the costs to the college will increase. How? How, you might wonder? Well, they'll want to take baths and that'll use up hot water. Furthermore, they argued, we'll have to replace the mattresses more often. Monetary arguments. The reformers met those objections by offering the following compromise. Each St. Anne's could have a maximum of 3 overnight male visitors each week, provided he paid 50 pence to defray the costs to the college. The next day, the headline in The Guardian read, St. Anne's girls 50 pence a night, which shows the folly of trying to translate all goods into monetary terms. Thank you very much.
Thank you for downloading this Intelligence Squared podcast. For more information on our debates, talks and discussions, visit intelligencesquared.com. Down Pink on the Science of Buoyancy, Lessons from Social Psychology on how to bounce back from rejection. This talk took place at London's Royal Institution on the 28th of February 2013.
All right, good evening. It's a delight to be here at the Royal Institution. I had never been in this room or in this building ever before, and when I saw this room, I asked Hannah, well, why is it configured this way? And she said, well, it was designed in the early days so that people could watch a cadaver being dissected. And that's when I realized what my role was here tonight. It's good to be here. I should offer you a warning here at the outset. In an earlier part of my life, before I chose the very, very noble calling of writing business books, I worked in the equally noble calling of writing speeches for American politicians. And because of that my earlier experience as a political speechwriter, I developed over the years a certain kind of philosophy about effective presentation. It's not even a philosophy. It's a dogma. It's a very rigid ideology about effective presentations. Because I have discovered over the years that good presentations, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what language you're speaking, no matter whether the audience is large or small, no matter whether they're looking down on you or whether they're looking up at you, good presentations anywhere, anytime, always have three key ingredients. The three key ingredients in any effective presentation, anywhere, anytime. Again, it transcends nationality, it transcends language, it transcends topics. Three key ingredients in any good presentation, anywhere, anytime. You might know nothing else here tonight. Let's see again. Three key ingredients in any effective presentation. They are brevity, levity, and repetition. Let me say that one more time. Brevity, levity, and repetition. So I'm going to be really brief so we have time for questions. I'm not going to be too severe and serious about it all. And I will repeat the important stuff over and 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 over again until you want to scream. I'm a firm believer in the rhetorical power of repetition. I'm a firm believer, that's not only because I used to work in politics, but also because I have 3 children, so I'm used to it. So, this might be a first here at the Royal Institution. I want to talk about sales. I don't think there's clarity of us talking about sales in this here. But I also want to talk about sales as sort of like the first layer of the cadaver, all right? Because I want to talk ultimately, I want to get deeper into sales as a way to get to the topic of buoyancy, and then use buoyancy as a way to get to the topic of speaking and doing sales. So let's start off with sales. I became very interested in sales, in part because of some British guy. I wrote a book a few years ago called Drive. That book makes an argument. It's a 15 minutes of social science. The argument goes like this. There's a certain kind of reward that we use in organizations, what I call an if-then reward. Controlling contingent reward. If you do this, then you get that. Classic mainstay kind of motivator and reward we use in organizations large and small. An if-then reward. If you do this, then you get that. What 15 years of research tells us is that if-then rewards are very, very effective for certain kinds of work. For work that is algorithmic, routine, mechanical, when you're following the rules, following the recipe, whether it's with your body turning the same screw the same way on an assembly line, whether it's with your brain adding up columns of figures. If-then rewards work like a dream for simple, mechanical, routine work. But that same body of research tells us that if-then rewards are far less effective for more complex, creative, and conceptual work. They just don't work very well. The evidence is pretty incontrovertible about that. And so that's basically what that book is about. If-then rewards are great for simple and short term, not so great for complex and long term. You don't have to read that book now. You should buy it, but you don't need to read it. And so in response to that, people say, well, what about sales? Isn't sales commissions the classic kind of if-then reward? If you sell something, then you get paid. If you don't sell something, then you don't get paid. And I heard from a guy in Cambridge, a guy named Neil Davidson, who runs a software company called Redbird Software. And he said, wow, this book is really interesting because it helped explain why something that I did worked. He said, we at my company eliminated commissions for our sales force. And we saw sales go up. Oh, kind of peculiar. And that sort of peculiar finding from a guy in Cambridge got me interested in this topic of sales. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I found on sales, but then use that to get us into this topic of buoyancy, because it's really, really interesting, because it tells us a lot about ourselves. So let's talk about sales. This country has a lot of salespeople. We got 1 out of 9 people, 1 out of 10 people in this country who work in sales. Their job is to get people to buy stuff. Cell phones, cars, consulting services, cosmetics. That's a lot of people, 1 in 10. But I don't even think it's the biggest story, because I think if you look at these people who are here, these 9 and 10, I think they're in sales too. I think a huge portion of what they do, a huge portion of what you do, is sales. It's kind of sort of like sales. Now, this is a hunch that I have, that people who aren't in sales are really in sales. And if you're experienced enough as a writer, you can make a claim, and you can go out and find the evidence and anecdotes to support that claim. It's not that hard, okay? And I said, I don't want to do that this time. No, I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is put some quantitative flesh on the bones here. So what I did is, in this book about sales, which is ultimately a book about human nature, is went out did a big survey of American workers, 7,000 adult full-time workers in America, composition of the workforce to match the composition of the U.S. workforce, which is very similar to the composition of the UK workforce, and I asked them a bunch of questions, including this one right here. What percentage of your work involves convincing or persuading people to give up something they value, attention, effort, money, time, etc., for something you can offer? It's kind of sort of like sales. What percentage of your time involves convincing or persuading people to give up something they value for something that you can offer, right? It's an exchange. I'm giving you this, you're giving me that, we're making an exchange. It's a different kind of exchange. But to me, it smells a lot like sales. So, 7,000 people later, we found that the average percent was 41%. People spending 41% of their time on the job, persuading, influencing, convincing people. Now, this is sales with a twist. Kind of sort of like sales. It's sales with a twist. It's a transaction. We're making an exchange. You're giving me something, I'm giving you something in return. I'm trying to convince you to make this exchange, but cash register's not ringing, money's not changing hands, and it's not denominated in dollars or pounds or euros. It's denominated in time, effort, attention, energy, zeal, those kinds of things. 40% of our time on the job is a lot of time. 24 minutes of every hour. 24 minutes of the next hour. 24 minutes of the next hour in this enterprise that I call non-sales selling. Now, so then I went back to the spreadsheet and crunched these numbers using my background in econometric analysis and fashioned this complex pie graph, which tells us we got 1 in 10 people in this world, and it's so interesting. What's so interesting about the percentage of people in sales is that it's very consistent across advanced economies. So Japan, Australia, US, I mean, they all hover around the same, 1 in 9, 1 in 10. So you look at this, we got 1 in 10 people in traditional sales and 1 in 10 people in non-sales selling. Add those up, 1/9 plus 9/9, 1/9 plus, what is it? What it means is this, like it or not, we're all in sales. Right? Like it or not, we're all in sales. Now, I think this is a big deal. Like it or not, we're all in sales. No matter what we do for a living, like it or not, we're in sales. And most of us don't like it. Right? You're nodding your head. Why don't you like it? Oh, no, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to you. It's trying to, and what's uncomfortable, what don't you like about that? Trying to convince somebody. What don't you like about that? You have to be, you might have to be manipulative. Okay, right. You have to be kind of a certain kind of person, all right, and deploy certain kind, yeah, exactly, a salesperson, right, that's the kind of person. Yes, a salesperson. All right, well, that's a great, tell me your first name? Silvana. Okay, Silvana has tapped into something very, very important here. Very, very important, Silvana's insight here. So let's quantify this a little bit, because it's going to take us into human nature here in a moment. Another question I asked in this survey was this. When you think of sales or selling, what's the first word that comes to mind? Now, the reason I ask this question this way is to get at people's visceral responses. You can ask them a question where they have to rate themselves on a scale or whatever, but this gives you people's immediate visceral responses. So why don't we hear somebody on this side, what's the first word that comes to mind? Aggressive, cheap, okay, good. Stockbroker, all right? What about over here? Intelligence, okay? We have at least one salesperson in the audience. Huh? Confidence, we have 2. Anybody, how about over here? Pounding? Hounding, nice one. Pressure. Annoying, okay, very good. So, this is an interesting way to gauge people's sentiment. And so, so we asked this question to 7,000 adult full-time workers in the U.S. Again, the sentiment is so similar on both sides of the Atlantic. And then what I did is I took out the nouns. I basically got a list of a text file of 7,000 words, literally. Text file, 7,000 words. And I started sorting through them. And I ended up taking out the nouns, things like persuasion and marketing.